blow-ups. This particular one is lot 80. This was at the time that the covenants and restrictions were written. This was the overall aerial by Google.
Google is good.
Right. In May of 05, and they were written in 10 of 05, so this would have already been done. I'm contending that these are the open areas and pastures that were referred to in the bylaws, because there were nothing but these areas that could have been referred to as that. They're contending that there were never, that the language stating that the existing pastures and open areas are exempt from the 35% that you can cut. They're saying that that was basically extra information because there was nothing here that pertained to that.
This right here looks like an open pasture to me, if it always looked like that.
Yeah, that's the.
Well, the pastures weren't maintained. That's what I was trying to do, was maintain my pastures.
See, all this was not. This was just. They cut. The timber company came in there and they either plantation cut that, or they residentially cut that, or they.
That's an open, define open area.
But that's not an open area. It has
trees on it. Is this an open area? There's trees on it.
Okay, it has trees on it, but your lot right here, that we're questioning, it don't have any of those trees anymore.
It has trees all over it.
Are you counting the little bitty?
I am counting
8 inches or bigger.
This is an open area or pasture. It is the only thing that could have been referred to. We have to assume as a board that it was not ambiguous language added in, that they were actually referring to existing open areas and pastures. If you can't point out something else that was an open area and pasture, then we have nothing else to go on by what shows as a more open area.
Why are you having a problem understanding that?
It looks the same as that.
No, it doesn't.
From above, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, that's your opinion.
When it addresses dilapidated buildings, it says unless they are existing.
Right.
So that would mean no.
That's buildings.
So that's probably the open area right here that they cleared.
I believe that's too limiting of a definition, and that there are owners who are expecting to be able to use these pastures for their horses. This is an equestrian subdivision. There was already existing open areas and pastures.
I don't believe there were. This was timberland.
So it's your
From
contention
years
that there
ago,
was
it was
not?
timberland. I think Mr. Morris probably knows it was timberland.
There was timberland here, but it was opened up.
But no,
It was closed. It was closed in. It doesn't matter what it was open for. It was open.
Well, St. Joe Paper Company opens land all the time and
St. Joe is
replants
not
trees.
even part of
It doesn't
this.
make it a pasture.
No, but it makes it an open area. If you open something,
I don't
it's
see
open.
an open area.
It's not open. It's replanted with trees.
That's an open area there. Maybe, I don't know what it is.
That's a little sand pit where they did a
But
turnaround.
this right here is is where the timber company come in there and they were harvesting this timber.
And they opened it up,
And
didn't they?
But they left trees on
How is
the
a
property.
member supposed to know when they read the bylaws what's an open area and what's not, when it says that there are existing open areas?
Well, what they should do is come to the board and ask
No, it says that they don't have to go to the board,
if they're not going to cut more than 35%.
which I contend I did not.
Everybody else contends you did.
That's
So,
okay.
1 out of 5. What do
For
you
the
think?
record, the board has the right to move forward, and I have the right to ask for adjudication. And through adjudication, we can get a judge to tell us whether or not he believes that there were open areas or not existing based on the areas of the time. And I believe that he will contend that those are the only open areas. This is a blow-up of one lot. The overall subdivision shows many open areas for the equestrian subdivision.
If we walk through your lot, we're not going to find any stumps. So there's an
No,
open
you
area.
will find stumps because I reopened up my pastures. They had overgrown. It was maintenance.
It overgrown. Bigger
Well,
than 8 inches.
we're at a
They
stalemate
had,
on
it
this
doesn't
issue
matter
right
if it's
here,
8
so
inches. Those
let's move
areas
on.
are exempt.
I make a motion we move on because we're never going to solve this with you.
Move on to what? I mean,
I
what are
think we need to drive by and stop in front of the lots and look and just see what we think.
You can't just stop and think, look at it and think. You can't see the back of the lot from the road. You cannot look 1,500 feet deep in. I contend that because you stopped my action, I couldn't get it cleaned up. And right now, because there are holes from having trees knocked over,
Who stopped you?
I received emails
We-
telling me that I
There
was
is no
supposed to.
email. There is,
that I was
first of all,
supposed
you
to
just
stop.
already told us, there is no emails, and
understand.
nobody told you to
As a
stop
member,
cleaning.
I received emails stating that the board was telling me that I should cease and stop immediately.
Cutting
were the words.
the trees. We never said stop cleaning
No,
up.
we were referring to the roads.
No,
Yes, which
Yes,
is
we
why
did.
I sent back an
Absolutely.
email specifically stating.
absolutely. We told you they need to fix the road and quit destroying it.
And,
That it's way
and
too
in what
wet.
time period were they supposed to fix this, in your opinion? Now, keep in mind before you
Every
answer
day.
this,
Yeah.
that we haven't had these road fixed in 5 years.
Every day they should bring it back to the condition it was that morning when they started logging.
So
I should be able to drive
low
these
puddles
roads.
is where they should
Like
bring it
Mr.
back
Marshall.
to.
They
come
should
down here and
never
drive, he
cut
should be able to drive
any
all the roads.
trees when it's a stormy weather.
Okay, we
Yeah.
live in Florida where it rains every 3 to 4 days.
Not really. Sometimes it goes a whole month without raining.
And that may be, I'll contend
Well,
that
now,
there
is
may
it,
be
the
those
question is,
situations.
did you cut over 35? You didn't, did you?
I did not.
I didn't think so, but looking at it and knowing, I know the area pretty much. And I've walked a lot of it. And I couldn't see where you cut over 35. I mean, I had to think about it, maybe get my little calculator out and think about it a little bit, but I never could see where you had cut over 35, really. I saw the 35. I don't even know where I read it. I read and cover so much till I don't know. I forget things. You know, I figured that you cut about 35. That's about all you got.
Just a second, Mr. Marsh. Let me show you something. This is lot 35, which is right up the road here. The first one.
Yeah.
This is the road. This is the swamp in the back of it. It's a 10-acre lot. There's no trees until you hit the swamp. I made 7 acres, looking at Google Earth, the same thing she's looking at, that's been cut.
That was an open
That
area
there has no
to
more,
begin with.
that has no more trees on it.
No, it still,
Whether
it
you
still
want to call
has
it clear
trees.
cutting, commercial cutting, or whatever,
It
there
still
are
has
no,
Scattered
trees.
trees
The only
there
throughout.
are
trees that
no
were
8-inch
planted
trees
pines.
on there.
No, there are plenty
The
of 8-inch
only trees are the ones in the water, in the wetlands.
So you're contending there's no 8-inch trees in the front of that?
There might be a couple pine, a couple oaks,
Or cedar.
a
There's
couple
scattered
cedars,
trees
a couple
throughout.
cedars, probably a couple
Is there
oaks.
anything that
There's no
specifies
pines.
what
There's
type
no
of trees can be
pines.
cut?
There's no pines.
There are no pines because I don't like pines and I'm allergic to pines.
And
so
because they
of
pay
my-
for pines
Of
when
my
you cut.
35%, I chose to cut
The next
pines
one,
because
this
I like
is-
the other trees.
This is his lot. There used to be the fellows over there that stand right there on it. Essentially, there's a little bit of some trees and little groups in there,
A little bit.
but it's a 15-acre lot. And essentially, she's got about a 3-acre in the back that
But
is
let's
not
match
cut.
those up with this.
Let's look at this one here, the one she's talking about right there. When you come in on the road, this is that big open place in there. This is the creek that comes through and crosses the road. There's 3.5 acres there, 4 acres in the back, and 3.5 acres there. So cut was 11.5 acres of a 23-acre, where you can only cut 8 to be 35. This is the one on past that, all the way down there 76. Once you go past my
Went
lot,
through, I know it is.
all the way in there. There's 3.8 acres cut there and 11.4 acres cut there. So allowable would have been 7.11 and there's 14.2 cut.
For the record, it doesn't say that you can cut 35% of your land. It says that you can cut 35% of your trees on your parcel. That includes all trees on your parcel, including what's in your wetlands.
Well, how do you think that this lot here, that you only cut 35% of the trees on?
I contend that I haven't
Because
started my
you're saying that it's
35%.
open land, which
I
we've said
contend
it's
that
not.
I can see that that's open land on here. If you folks can't see that this is not open and this is open, then that's your own way of thinking. I contend as a member who reasonably read the covenants and restrictions and believed that they included what they said, existing open land and pastures, that this is an open land right here. It's been opened up. It was opened up within the year that the covenants and restrictions were done, and it was opened up by the declarant.
That is replanted pines. That is not open land.
That is not replanted. This is old pines that they left in their pasture.
Well, sure.
I contend I don't want pines in my pasture.
That's your
and
problem.
it says that the open area, this is an area, this is an open area, and it's exempt.
Why don't we just
No, I
throw?
don't think so, Victor.
I just think
Reread the language.
I'm not reading it again. I've read it. I'm
Okay.
comfortable
I've
with
read
what
it.
it says.
repeatedly. I've read it.
Well, I mean,
Okay. Well, it
Victoria,
appears we're
if
beating
you'd
a
have
dead horse
cut, if
here.
you'd have cut 35% of the trees off of that land up there, or we could look out there and see there was pines out there,
I
we would
contend,
not have this. We would not have the problem that we got right now.
I contend that my open areas were cut, that the only percentage of my 35% was a small amount in the back of lot 76 that was opened up in addition to what the declarant had opened up just shortly before having the bylaws written. Again, I have had legal counsel on this, of which you guys have not been privy to. It was my understanding the board did not want to have the advice. Therefore, I am not giving it to them because I will be paying for it myself.
Well, we did the same thing, so don't.
That's okay.
We paid for it too. So
I'm
we're
stating
okay,
it. Now, I contend that the Pettises definitely cut more than 35% of their trees. And as a matter of fact, before I roll this up, I'll go ahead and tell you why I believe that and that they need to be taken into consideration equally. Here's lot 51. There can be no arbitrary. Here it is, lot 51. And I need the iPad again.